So for information, this is our ADE, Mr. Stanley, Sim Yong Seng from Indonesia. Okay, so for today, what we can learn is about how we want to organize our data. So you all can use and create interactive activity in class. So for your information, this session, you can learn by using formula and conditional format from numbers. So we also can create a visual applying apps for that's our student could use in class and explore idea in mathematics. Okay.
Yep.
And what I see is special for numbers is we can explore the function library and we can learn the potential of numbers to create other interactive activity. Okay, it's not limited only by your imagination. All right, so what we need today, make sure all of you have a numbers apps or install your apps in your iPads or Mac. So sir, you want today is using iPad or Macs?
Both will do.
Both you do. Oh, very good.
Yeah,
So
both
we can
are
learn
fine.
both. Yeah. So we can both from iPad or from Macs. Okay.
Yes.
So I give you this stage. Let's start, sir.
Okay. Yep. Sure. Thank you very much.
So,
So
okay, I
I
stop
will
my
share my
screen
screen
first.
now.
Yeah, your pleasure.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Fine,
It's pretty
thanks.
late over there. It's pretty late over there, right? 9 o'clock until
It's
10:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Over here in Jakarta, it's 8 o'clock. So we are 1 hour earlier than Malaysia, Singapore.
Ah, I see.
Oh.
Okay.
So I thank you for your time to take out this very precious family time this evening, 9 o'clock, where you probably will be like be with your family watching TV, right? Okay, so I will make sure that you will enjoy today's session. Okay, let's make it light-hearted. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce myself. Okay, I'm Mr. Stanley Sim. Although I'm teaching in Indonesia, but actually I'm from Singapore. I'm a Singaporean, but I've been in Indonesia for the last 10 years as a teacher in international schools, a few schools already. Okay, so I'm also a Apple professional learning provider, and at this moment I'm serving as the head of technology at National High Jakarta School. So one of my colleagues is also here. Okay, so what I want to share with you this evening is how to make mathematics fun. Okay, because after all, most of us are mathematics teachers, and we know that many students, they struggle with mathematics because mathematics to them are just numbers and letters. Okay, but actually there are more ways where we can share mathematics with our students, and if they find it interesting and fun, they would like to learn it more and be stronger with it. So first, I wonder, do you know who this guy is? Have you seen him before? This guy,
No.
his name is Joten Dins. Okay, he's a Hungarian mathematician. Okay, he was the guy who mentioned that say that if you give me a mathematical structure, I will turn it into a game. Okay, he believed that children, even at very young age, can learn complicated mathematics if you make it fun and relevant for them. Okay, and he believed he is quite into education for mathematics. So he believed that mathematics should be delivered in a way where the students will actually explore first, then followed by structured discussion, and then of course at the end there will be this practicing, which I believe all of us believe that practicing is necessary. But in order for students to learn well, in fact, exploration and discussion should come before practicing. So with this as the basis, what I want to share with you tonight is actually to use numbers, okay, to create 3 activities in it using a combination of formula and conditional formatting. Okay. So I hope all of you have numbers. Okay, so the first thing is I'm sharing you this. Oh, sorry, I think you're not seeing. The first thing is I'm sharing with you this drive. This is my iCloud drive. It contains the resources that you will use tonight. So can you access this either through the URL, or if you are using an iPad, you can actually capture it. Okay. Okay, I'll give you a bit of time to do this. In fact, if you have 2 devices, it will be even more wonderful, because one device will be for Zoom, the other one you can actually work on the formula in numbers. Okay, but if you have just one device, it is fine. It's just that you got to toggle between the numbers and the Zoom. Okay, and if you are ready, maybe you can show by putting up your this digital hand, you know, the blue hand at the side.
Assuming the blue hand.
So in the drive, it should look something like this, right? So you will have a number of files. The first one is the A1 permutation. Oops. Let me see. Okay. So you have this A1 permutation, which I'm going to start off first. And then you have this template, which you can download and play with it. Okay. It has the same design, but it does not have the formatting. So later, when I'm going through, you can actually put in the formula or the formatting yourself. Okay. So after the A1, then I will go to A2. Okay. Then I will go to A3. And at any moment, if you are lost, okay, I have also prepared this document. Okay, it's a pages document. Okay, so if you look at it, okay, it contains the formula, okay, that will be used in that particular activity in case you get lost. All right, because probably sometimes my skill will be going to another part. So if you want to refer to the formula, okay, all these things are here in this document. Everything good? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so first activity here, okay, I'm showing you this permutation. This very simple table, okay, if you have downloaded it, you can play with it. Okay, so this is probably, if your students are using iPads in class, you could have like created this document for them, and then they can read the instruction and try to play around to explore permutation. Okay, so they're supposed to find the number of ways to arrange 2 different color cards by typing R for red and G for green. Okay, so they could type R and then enter, oh, and then it turns red. Okay, and then they can type G and it turns green. Wonderful. And what's the second way? Probably will be G and then followed by R. So if you have 2 objects, you have 2 ways of arranging. And then if we go to the next tab where you have 3 cards, now they probably would do a bit more try and error. Okay, red, green, yellow. Okay, red, yellow, green. Okay, you can play around with it, feel free. And then what else? And then you can have green, yellow, red, right? So you can see, I'm seeing many people are putting in the numbers now, okay, the letters. So you see that some of you key in like J, KR, it does not show up. But if you type green, red, R, G, or Y, it will turn up. Even if you type a small letter Y, it also turn up. So how do we do that? Okay, so now I'm going to show you. Let's go back to the simple two cards. Okay, this is what I call conditional formatting. So how do you use this conditional formatting? If you click on one cell and then you go to the format, you see that down here I have this thing, conditional highlighting. I can edit them. Okay, so if I click on edit, okay, you can see I can add more. Okay, I can delete or I can add rule. Okay, so if let's say I want to add another rule for another color, then you just click. You find that you have a number of options. You can choose numbers, text, which is what I chose. Okay, so here I chose text, and then I chose probably is, right? I think you can use logic. So click is. So if my text in the cell that I have highlighted, okay, is, oh, I think I click something. Okay, so if the text is B, then I choose B. Okay, then I choose the B color, and then after that I click done. Okay, so that means if I were to click this cell, if I were to enter a B, it will give me a B. So that's conditional highlighting. Pretty easy to understand. Any questions? And you can explore by looking for other rules. Okay, you can have text is something, is not, start with, ends with, contain, does not contain. And you can even use dates, okay, durations, numbers. Okay, if the number equal to certain value or between, greater than, less than, between, not between. So you can see with your conditional highlighting, you can actually have many different ways of creating a document for your students. Everything good? Any questions? That will be our very first activity. Pretty simple, right? So I'm
Yeah,
giving you
yeah.
something as
Nice.
grabs. Yeah, good. Thank you. Okay, now let's go to the second activity. A2 dice throw. Okay, this chapter of maths is actually on probability. So if you taught probability before, you know you want your students to understand what are the chances, what's the probability of getting a 1 or a 2 or 3, so on and so forth. Okay, and one of the interesting activity that you can do is ask your class to throw dice and record down, right? So here we are going to do this thing using numbers. Okay. So here I would like you all to participate in putting the dice throw numbers here. Okay, so here if you look here, I have given you a URL. Okay, if you click this URL, open, you can go to a dice throwing site. Open link. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you can see this is a dice throwing link. Okay, and I'm going to choose one dice. So if I roll dice, okay, it will give me a throw. Okay, so if you press, it will always give you a random dice value. So can you join these numbers and put down your name? How about that? Put down your name and then you throw 5 times and then type down your values of the dice that you got. Is it okay? So here I'll start off, Stanley. Then I'm going to throw my dice. Okay, I got a 6. Okay, so you can see I use conditional highlighting also here. The reason why I want to use the highlighting is because sometimes the student it will be easier for the student to visualize which number has more occurrences, okay, if you use colors. Whereas if you use numbers, probably most people cannot see which one has more occurrences or less. Are you able to access this site? These particular numbers? Okay, 6 again.
Okay, so we use for this link, right?
Yes,
www.random.org/this.
random. Yes. Okay. So this is to help you to get a random dice throw. So I got 666 followed by a 5. And then followed by the last throw is a 3. Okay. Wonderful. And what's interesting about this random throw is that when you have randomness, you can have a situation like this where I have actually 3 occurrences of 6 and then followed by a single 5 and single 3. Okay, whereas if you are to make guesses, probably most people will make a mixture of different numbers, right? So this is one show of one kind of evidence where a certain event is random. Okay, and of course, if I have just a random, if I'm just throwing 5 throws and I get 3, 6, it seems like it's skewed towards the 6. But this activity would be very interesting if you have your class of students of 20 or 30 students participating, everybody throwing the dice for 5 times, and you will see that you will have a list of values, okay, and then you can check what is the outcome. Okay, let me try to get a list of the values. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, let me turn off my video first. Excuse me for a moment. Okay. Okay, what I'm trying to do is to copy paste a set of values so that I can show you the outcome. Okay, it's ready. Let me show my screen. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen. There you go. Okay, so here I have copy pasted from my students' activities, and well, you can see the interesting thing is you can see the occurrences, the percentage of occurrences for each of these value on the right hand side. So for number 1, I have 16%, followed by 22%, 14, 14, 21, 12. Okay, that's interesting. If you consider removing all the remaining throws, so let's just take one throw. Okay, it seems like it's more skewed, right? You can see some number like 2 occur for 44%, and then number 1 for 22%, and even there's one number 4 that does not occur. Okay, so this would be an interesting way where you can bring your student about probability of large numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you how to create this. Okay, so you can see you have this 16%. So you want to see the formula. Okay, you double click on this. Okay, you can see at the bottom, here I have this. No, I cannot zoom in. Okay, so you can see this formula. Count if throw, again, 1, divide by count A, throw 1, or throw 5, okay, then followed by this. Okay, so you can download the document that I shared with you just now, this one, the A2 template, okay, and key in yourself. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to start key your formula in. Okay, so first of all, I want the calculation to be shown up here. Okay, so this is the part where you have the formula. So I double click here, and then I need to type an equal. Okay, so when you type an equal, you will have this part where you can start key in the formula. Okay, so the formula will be because what I want to do is to find the number of occurrences if the cell is a 1. So a cell is all these squares, they are cells. Okay, so what I want to do is count if. Okay, okay. Oh, sorry, not this. I want the one without the S. Okay, so if you press count if and then you hit enter, the numbers will automatically give you the remaining parameters that's required. Okay, so by looking at this test array, okay, it's telling you that you need to highlight a certain range of cells. Okay, so what I do is I will just click on this test array, and what I want is to look out for the cells where they have a value of 1, right? So all these I want. So what I can do easily is I just click the top here, okay, then I drag across. So after I've dragged across, I just hit enter. Okay, it gives me an error because I have not specified the condition needed. So what I want to look for is the value of 1, right? So I type a 1, hit enter. Okay, now it's good, 0%. So there is no 1 occurring in any of these cells. So just to check whether you are right or wrong, just type a 1. Okay, 100%. Okay, here is 100% because I have formatted my cell to be percentage. So if I change it to numbers, okay, let me think. Numbers, okay, numbers. So again, another 1, well, it will just increase because it's looking out for all the 1s. So this is only half of the formula. Okay, so I'm going to add the parts where it will calculate the percentage, right? So again, I will double click. Now I want to modify this by dividing the total number of cells that have values. Okay, so in numbers, they already have such a function which you can tap. Okay, so that function is called count A. Okay, so count A, again, is looking for value, but this value is basically the range of cells again. So what you can do is to drag the same way as what you have done earlier. Okay, and enter. Okay, so now this time I want to change this back to percentage because I think it will be a better representation of the number of occurrences, right? Okay, so here I will change it. Percent, 100%. Okay, well, I still haven't got any other things. Let's say I type number 2, okay, become 75. Okay, although my number 2 here doesn't have because I have not keyed in any formula, but then it shows that I have 3 out of 4 values contains the value of 1. So that's why it's giving me 75%. Great. Okay. So the next step, of course, naturally what you want to do is to bring the formula down from 1 to 6, right? So that you will look out for the value of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what you can do is just click on the cell and you see that there is a yellow dot below. Okay, click and drag it down. Release. All shows 75. Okay, and why do they show 75? Because all of them are looking out for the value of 1. So I'm showing you the second cell. Again, is a count if. Then you have the range, and then look out for 1. So this time I want it to look out for 2, right? Change it to 2. And hit enter. Wow, now it's 25%. Good, because 1 out of 4 is definitely 25%. And I will change this to 3. And the next to 4. Five, and the last one to be 6. Okay, so now you have this, and if I were to copy paste again, bam, now it's giving me all these numbers. And of course, the conditional highlighting you have to add in yourself, like what you have learned earlier. Okay, it's under here, conditional highlighting cell. Okay, under cells. So you have to add in the different colors for 1 to 6. Any questions? Everyone can follow. No questions? All right, wonderful. Okay, so just feel free to interrupt me if you have any, if you want to seek any clarity.
Maybe
Sorry, it's not very clear. There's some lag behind. Okay, so if there's no question, I will go to the next tab. Okay, the next tab is similar, it's also distro, but I add in more functions. Okay, so here again, I will paste my values. Okay. Okay, and what I want to do is, okay, I will do the same thing. I want to create the percentage of occurrence, okay, after one throw. But this time I have added more columns because I want the student to see how the probability of occurrences changes as you have more events, right? Okay, so I will just do this like what I've done earlier, equal to count if, okay, enter. The range will be just the first column. And look out for the value of 1. And then I want to divide by count A. Again, the range will be the first row. Enter. There you see. Okay, so I have 1, like what I have just now. Okay, and it's showing up in the graph. Interesting. And of course, I will do the same thing. I drag down, then I will change the condition to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that is for number 2. Number 3. 4, 5, and last 6. Okay, well, and you can see, now you can see the occurrences in graphical form. Earlier is in percentages, which is not so easy to visualize, right? So you got to look at these 22%, 44, and then, well, looking through here, you see a 0%. But here, well, one look, you already see this is the highest, this is the lowest. And in fact, there's no occurrence of 4. So again, numbers can allow you to create charts, bar graph, okay, and other type of graph that can help in visualizing data. Yeah, and then, well, like what I said earlier, I want these activities to be such that when the student do more throws, it will show you the changes in the probabilities of occurrences. So I want this formula to happen for 2 throws, then after that 3 throws, 4 throws, and 5 throws. Okay, so what am I going to do? So I show you, first way is, this is not the correct way, okay? This is not the correct way. So if I were to drag it across, boom, okay? Seems good, I have some data, but if I were to click on the cell, notice that this cell is taking the throws, the data from the second throw only. But what I want is for it to compute the percentage based on throw 1 and throw 2, 2 throws. Okay, so this is not what I want. So I need to make a bit of changes. Okay, so I'm going to delete this again. Okay. If you click the first cell, notice that in the formula here, if you click on this thing, you have this feature called start and end. Start preserve column, end preserve column. What does this thing serve? Okay. Okay, so just now you see that as I drag across, the highlighted cell in here also get dragged across, because numbers is smart. It knows what you want to do most of the time. So when you drag across, it assumes that you also want your values to be dragged across. Okay, you want to take a different set of data, throw 2, throw 3, throw 4, throw 5. But unfortunately, in this situation, what you want is not just throw 2, but including throw 1. And when you go to the throw 3, you want to include throw 1, throw 2, and throw 3. Okay, so this is not what numbers would expect you to do. So you got to make a bit of changes. So notice that what you want is to keep the starting point the same, right? So if you want to keep the starting point the same, you turn this preserve column on. Okay. Now, let's go and drag again. Okay. Not just this, but let me go, no, oh, I click more than what I want. Okay, so I will do the same thing for the other columns. Okay, preserve column. And this will be preserve column. Okay, so now all these cells have preserve column turned on, and now I will drag it one more time. Through 5. Okay. And if I click this time again, there, okay. Seems that my first is not. Okay, let me check again. This one first was not turned on. Okay, so I got to turn this, drag again for my first row. Okay, so if I click this, you can see now it's highlighted 2 columns, right? So same for this is 2 columns as compared to earlier, just 1 column. Now you have 2 columns. And if I click this, you have 3 columns highlighted. Okay, 4 columns and 5 columns. Okay, and you can see that you can now show your students how the percentage of events of occurrences changes. If you just have one throw only, you can have non-occurrences, or you can have very skewed data. But as the number of throws increases, and like all probability events, the the expected outcomes will even out. So you can see if they become more or less even out, right? So again, you can bring this idea to your students in class. Okay? How's everything, everyone? Good? I hope you all
Yes,
follow.
okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. And then that comes to my third event, third activity. Car racing. Okay. So what does this car racing do? Again, it's probability, because probability makes use of a large number of data. So whenever you are doing a topic in mathematics that's involved large number of data, numbers or other kind of spreadsheet would be a good platform or app that you can use to create activities for them. And especially they can work in groups, because you have everybody just throw the dice one time in a class. You already have 20 throws already, right? So each student throw 5 times, you have 100 throws. And we know that in probability studies, we want to have a large number. Okay, okay, so come to here. What is this game about? Okay, here you will throw 2 dice. Okay. So the math idea in this activity is, if you throw 2 dice, okay, what is the expected outcome of the sum of these 2 dice? Okay. So at the start of the class, you probably would want to give this to your student and then ask them to place a bet by writing their name down. Okay, and like you all can also access this thing, your student can also access this thing, everyone access the same documents, and then they can type their name down, right? And then they probably want to make a bet, which car do you think will reach the finishing line first? Okay, so they can type, okay, let's say 4. How about the rest? Do you want to try? Do you want to play this?
Yeah, we will try.
Okay,
So,
great.
I will start.
You will put your name here. Okay, put your name here and then place your bet.
Okay, let's
Any?
say my Mr. L. Cikgu L, teacher L. EL.
L. Is L here?
Yeah. EL.
Do you want me to type for you?
Yes, if you
Okay, tell me, what bets do you want to place? Let me get the dice out first. Okay. And what number do you want, Al?
mind. Three.
Yep.
What
Okay, you got to place a bet.
number?
What number
number
you
2.
want?
Car
Great.
number 2.
Car number 2. Anyone want to go for car number 1?
Yeah, I'll go for car number 3.
Car number 3. Who?
Yes.
Who's that?
Herman.
Mr. Herman. Oh, yeah, 12. Great.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have 2 dice. I'm going to roll 2 dice because that's what I want to do. Find the sum of the 2 dice. And whenever the sum corresponds to a particular value, I will just increase the value by 1. Okay, so now I will throw this. Okay, so I got a 4 plus 4 is 8. So it's 1 time. Boom. There you see the car comes out. The first car come out of the starting line. Now let's try again. Another row. 5 plus 1, 6. Boom. Okay, why is not happening? 1, enter. Okay, and let me roll again. 1 plus 3 is 4. Nine. Ten. Wow, this time I have all the numbers coming out. This rarely happened to me when I play. Oh, it's not 10. It's supposed to be just a 1. 4 plus 2, 6. That's good. Okay, I have 6 happening 2 times. So now it's 2. You can see my car move 2 steps ahead. And 1 plus 6 is 7. Oh, 7. Car number 7 finally come out of the starting line. 9. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Anyone can make it. 5. 5 is coming out of the starting line. And then 7. Wow, this is a very tight race. 3 plus 6 is 9. Whoa, finally, this is 3. Ta-da! So you have car number 9 reaching the finishing line first. Wonderful. So whichever student bets on number 9 got a candy, chocolate, whatever you want to give. So, how do I make this game? How do I make the car move? Okay. And well, what I did was I make use of the if formula. Okay. So here I will show you. Okay, I double click here. You can see the formula is like this. If the cell, okay, so what cell? This cell is the blue cell. You can click on this cell to see which one is referencing to. So if this cell, okay, is +2, I go to +2 because if it +2, you will get this. Okay, if my value is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, right? So 3 refer to this row number 3. So if this cell +2 is equal to the row of this cell, equal to the row number of this cell. Okay, that means it will be a true condition. So again, in numbers, you have this logic function. If it's true, it will do certain thing. If it's false, it will do another thing. So here, if it's true, I want it to print out this racing car character. Okay, if it's false, just leave it blank. Okay, here 2 double quotes it represents a blank. Okay, so that is how the formula works. And then, well, what I will do next is, okay, I will just, okay, let me go to the templates again. So what I'll type is equal to if, okay, the cell, I need to reference to this cell, right? Okay, then +2, okay, and then is equal to the row number. Again, when you type this row, you see all these things coming out. So row is a special function in numbers. It's a function that is already defined in the application. So you can make use of this row, and then row of which cell? Row of this cell. That's what I explained earlier. So if it's true, okay, then here it gave you the clue already. If it's true, what you want it to do? You want it to print out the racing car character. So here I did put it here so you can copy and paste it there. Okay. If true, print out this character. If false, then print out a blank character. Okay. And what I need to do is I want to drag this thing down. 1, 2. So you can see if I click 1, the racing car goes there out of the starting line. If I click type 2, it goes to the next. If I type 3, ta-da, it goes to the finishing line. And of course, numbers, like all spreadsheet, it has this function of dragging that I showed you earlier, right? So that I don't have to keep on typing the formula again and again. So I can just drag this formula across. So of course, whenever you want to drag across, my advice is think about this thing, do you need to preserve the starting point and the ending point? Okay, in this case, probably there isn't a need, right? There isn't a need. So I will drag this across, release. So if you look,
Sorry,
yes,
sorry, Mr. Stanley. No.
yeah.
Is it,
Oh, you are not seeing it? Oh, sorry, you
yeah,
are
yeah,
not
yeah.
seeing it.
I just
Okay, okay. Yes, yes. Okay, so sorry. Okay, because I changed my.
okay, it's okay, sir.
Oh, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
there goes back here. Okay, thanks for reminding.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
show
okay,
you
okay,
one
okay.
more time.
Now you can see. Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't mind, can you show us one more time how to set the formula for
Yes.
this setting?
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. Sure. Sure. Okay. Okay. I'll delete this again. Okay. So it's a if. Okay. So here you need the expression. So the expression is if this value plus 2, okay, is equal to the row number of this cell. So if you have a value of 1, 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, right? So you want to get the row cell of this, the row number of this cell. So it's 3. So I will just use the function row, okay, enter, and it prompts me to identify which cell I want to use. So it's this cell. Okay. So if it's true, I will print out this character, the car. Okay. Okay. And if it's false, then I would just want it to print out a blank character. Okay, so I need to remove a black bracket. Okay, there is a formula error. Okay, so now if I type 1, let's see if it works. Okay, so it works now. So I will drag this formula down to row number 3. So to test whether it's running correct or not, just type 2. Okay, looks good. And then 3. Okay, looks good.
Oh, nice.
Nice, right? And then, of course, the next thing is, like I explained just now without showing the screen, I want to drag this formula across, so I do not need to type the formula one by one. Okay. So whenever you want to drag cells across, think about whether you need to preserve the starting point or not. Okay. So if you do not need to preserve the starting point like what we are doing now here, then you can just go ahead and drag it here. Release. Okay. So you can see that my second column reference to this second column here. Okay. And then this column also again reference here. And then another column reference to the respective column. So if I were to just type a number here, 1, it works. So you don't have to keep on typing and typing. Right? And then another 1, 3, boom, there. Okay? So everything is working fine. And of course, the last thing that I want to, is probably to make the winner more excited by making the cell change color. And that, of course, will be conditional highlighting. Okay, okay, so conditional highlighting, again, what I can do is I can highlight all the cell first, okay, or even I can highlight the entire row and go to here. Now, okay, you want to add conditional highlighting. So here, okay, I want it to highlight when the character. Character is a form of text in programming. So if the text is what? Is the car. Okay, so let's paste. Okay, I already copied just now, so I just do a paste. So if the text is this thing, I will choose green color. And done. There you see, the two cars are there. But of course, when you are running a real race, probably there will only be one car that is in front. So, well, car number one cannot be true, right? Maths teacher. Okay, you know what? Car number one cannot win because one can never be the sum of two dice. The minimum is a 2. So whichever student chose one, probably you can bring that out as a topic to discuss. Right. Okay. So any questions regarding this, the dragging, the formula? Okay. When I'm sharing these numbers to other teachers before last time, one of the things that they always ask is, how do I know all these things? So many functions, right? So are you going to memorize them? No, I do not memorize them. Okay? To be honest, I do not memorize. Of course, some of the formula could become very familiar to you if you have been using it regularly. Okay, but in general, I do not specifically go and memorize them. The reason is because you always have the reference library where you can get more information. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to get this. Okay, let's go back to any of these cells. Okay, so let me remove away the formula. So now if you want to key in a formula, right? So equal, of course you got to know what function you want. So here I want to use if. So you type if first. Okay, and you can get more information, okay, by clicking this. Okay. So it will show you what are the available functions. All the functions, okay, dates and time, the duration, engineering, financial, logical information. Okay, if is a kind of logical information, so it's under here. So if you want to know the details of the if, you click on the info button and it will explain to you. Like the if function will returns one of the two values, blah blah blah. Okay, then you can read. And they also give you examples. If something greater than 0, it will give you this thing, otherwise this thing. So that's how you can use the if function. Okay. So going back, so here I want to use this if, okay, if expression will be this cell plus 2 is equal to row, okay, of this cell. Okay, then true, that I will paste the car. Otherwise, I will just give a blank character. Okay. So the reference library is always within your reach, within a click. Okay, so you can make use of this reference library to understand more. Like for example, just now we were doing the count, right? So I just type here. Count will be slightly more complicated. Okay, so not count, but count if. Okay, so you want to know what is it about? Then go and look out for the count. Okay, it's under logic. No, it's not. It's under this. It's under C count. There, okay, you have a count A, count blank, count if. Count blank is if the cell is a blank, it will give you a number. Count if is what you want to use. Okay, yeah. So count if here the information. Okay, so it tell you that to use the count if, you got to put a test array here followed by the condition. Okay, and of course, if you don't understand what these abstract statements means, you can always go down to look for examples. So it always provide you with examples, like count if, then you have this thing, okay, from this cell range to this cell range, then greater than 0, it will count as one number. So if you have numbers that are greater than, let's say you have two numbers that are greater than 0, then it will give you a value of 2 in the cell. That's how it works. Right? Any questions?
Mr. Stanley, there is one question from the participant.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so this participant is asking to get the car character, sir.
To get the what?
The car character, the one you
the
use.
car character.
That.
Yes.
Yes.
How do I get the car character?
Yes.
That's okay. Very easy, because in your iOS you actually have the set of emoticons. Okay, so here, let me take off this thing. So you can get, this is one way, you can get your car from here. Okay, so go and look for the car somewhere. Okay, here I got my racing car from here actually. Then I just make it bigger by changing the font size. The other way that you can get character on top of the one that is available in your system is to go to the internet, search for emojis, because emojis are text characters. So there is this organization that handles all the emoji character. So every emoji character has actually a particular reference number. So you can go online, search for those things, just copy paste, it will appear in your document.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any more questions?
So far, only that.
Okay, wonderful.
So, Mr. Stanley, change.
Yes.
Right?
Sorry.
At the finishing line, so if you want to change another emoji, something like medals or flag at the finishing line, also can, right?
Yes, definitely you can. That means what you will do is, instead of putting a racing car here, you got to choose another, maybe the medal or the trophy. You can put it there. Okay. So here I'm just showing you that numbers itself has more than 250 functions. Okay, so you can go to the Apple website and it will give you all the different kind of functions in the details. So just now I was showing you the functions in the very small windows. But if you want to study more about this function, you go to the Apple website, it will tell you the details of it, and then you can study. And because the more functions that you know, the more interactive activities that you can think of. Right? I will share with you another example that I created. Okay. Actually, there's really many different things that you can make from numbers. Like for here, I want to simulate a throw dice. Okay, so just now I was using the internet. Okay, but you can actually create this thing. I just have to type anything. Doesn't matter. Because what happens is I need to change the value of this cell. So whenever a value is changed, this cell is going to generate a random dice throw. So you can ask your student, just key anything, and then you generate a dice throw. So how do I make this? You can see the formula below. If S, so something like an if, but then with an S behind. So this basically is an if statement with multiple conditions. So you can see the logic, quite simple. If A2 is this cell. If A2 is equal to 1, give me this character. So just now the person who asked, where do you get these values, these characters from? I got this from the internet. Okay, I look for dice face. Then it will give me the character where I can copy paste. Like, okay, I can use this. Dice face. Unicode. Okay, Unicode character. So I have this, I can copy this thing. Okay, so all these are characters. This is image. Of course, you don't use the image. You use the character, UTF-8. Copy this thing, then you can paste it into your number cells. Then you can look for other values like phase 2, then phase 3, 4, 5, 6. So in fact, I got this from here. It's exactly the same.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Stanley. There is another
Yes.
question from the participant.
Yeah.
Okay, participant is asking, how do you share the spreadsheet to others after you finish making it, just like now you have shared with us?
Oh, great question. Sharing of documents in this iCloud system. Okay, I will show you. First, you go to this the document. Okay, click on this. So you can see on the top right corner there is this particular button. Okay, you click on this. Then it will ask you, okay, how do you want to share this document? So click on the share option. You can see you can choose the people you invited or anyone with the link, and whether they can make changes or just view only. Do you want to add a password? Okay, so what I did for all the files here in this lesson is this: anyone with the link, and you can make changes. Then after that, go back here. Then you got to click copy link. So it will change, it will update the permission status. Then you start collaborating. So once this prompt goes away, you can share the link to another person.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stanley.
Yep, you're welcome. Okay, and another activity that I recently did with my students. Okay, like if you know how to use numbers, really you can it can just come into your mind like, okay, you want to make this thing that your student can enjoy. So I was doing this topic on series, you know, APGP, arithmetic and geometric progression. So under geometric progression, there is this thing about the sum to infinity. Okay, so what I did was that I asked the student to create this number sheet, and then I asked them to type the values. Like I'll just give you a quick demo. So I can start with, let's say I start with 4, and in a geometric progression, what happens is the next value will be the previous value multiplied by a certain value, right? So I'll just take this thing times 0.5. Okay. And then, well, like now you probably can see, you can drag this value down, right? Drag. And then you can see that your student can visualize that the numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. But you will never get to 0. And then what you can do is, because you want to do a sum, right? So you can do a sum from this, not this, but rather that this equal to sum of these two cells. Okay. Then you see, I want to keep my starting point same. In this case, I want to keep my starting point same. If not, you see, if I were to drag this thing down, okay, if I click here, it's adding these two, not here. If I click this, it's adding these two, but not the previous two. So I want to keep the starting point the same. So here, I will have to change my formula a little bit by preserving the row, okay, for the starting row. Now I drag again. So do you see, this is wonderful, right? 6, 7, 7.5, 7.75, it gets nearer and nearer to 8, but it never gets to 8. Again, you can ask your student to drag this thing down for a long way, okay, and then they can observe the pattern of the sum, and then you can explain to them what's the meaning of sum to infinity. Okay, there is a certain value, it is not infinity. Okay. All right, so well, that's all the sharing that I like with you all tonight. Okay, I hope you all have a wonderful time and learn something, okay, at the same time. Any last words from anyone?
Participants can unmute yourself if you want to ask Mr. Stanley directly, you can do that.
Yes.
Mr. Stanley,
Yes.
sir, regarding the sharing
Yeah.
of this spreadsheet, do our
Mm.
students need to have numbers also? What if they're using Windows computers?
Oh yeah. Okay, for these numbers, pages, and keynote, they only the Mac and the iOS platform have them. So your student will need to have numbers, okay, and yeah, in order to use your documents. But then again, the formula that I share with you, the technique is applicable to other mainstream spreadsheets like Excel or Google Sheets. So whatever you learn today, if you try it on Excel and Google Sheet, it will work the same. But probably
All
the
right.
interface might be a little bit different, but the style is the same, like dragging, the formula. In fact, the formula have the same names also.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, are there any other questions? You can unmute yourself and ask Mr. Stanley directly. Or you can type in the chat box. Okay, if everything is good, then you can use the reaction thumbs up in the chat box. Okay, so you can give a thumbs up there. So we know that everyone is okay and that you have learned something in tonight's sharing session. Okay. Okay, we have a thumbs up from Muhammad Shafiq. Thank you, Shafiq. Okay, thumbs up from Fairuz. That's great. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Stanley.
You're welcome.
Okay, so can you stop share for a moment, because
Yep,
I
sure.
want to share content. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, hold on. Let's share. Okay. Right. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Okay, all right, so I'm just going to share the MDAC keynote. Okay, so thank you very much to Mr. Stanley for your sharing session tonight on visualizing mathematics with numbers. It is something very mathematical and yet it's very awesome. Okay, especially those who are going to teach or who are teaching mathematics, and mastering numbers would, create a very engaging classroom. Okay. All right, for tomorrow, 9th October, Friday, 10 a.m., there will be another sharing session by another Apple Distinguished Educator, Associate Professor Dr. Azma Putra, on creating engaging animated learning content using iPad. Okay, and the requirements for those who are going to attend will be that you have an iPad running iPad OS 13 or above, and please download these apps, Apple GarageBand, Apple iMovie, and Apple Keynote. So that will be in the morning, 10 a.m. And then on the same day, in the afternoon, we have Mr. James Abella, okay, 3 p.m. And his topic will be, his sharing session will be on what is computational thinking and how can it help you to succeed. Okay, there is no requirement from him, but it will be a sharing session. Okay, here I would like to invite on behalf of the Apple Teacher Community Malaysia, for those who would like to join, you can scan this QR code, okay, and join us in Apple Teacher Community Malaysia.